everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so pleased that you have found us here in the back room. Karen Dion and I, my co-host, have been doing this for 3 years now, and it is absolutely marvelous as we watch the numbers tick up, 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 up as you all join us on these Sunday evenings for the panels of 4 absolutely marvelous authors. I'm your host, Hank Philippi Ryan, the USA Today bestselling author of 14 going on 15 novels of suspense. My current book, The House Guest, is up on the door behind me, as you can see. And let me just show you if I have it really quickly. Look what is coming on February. Can I do it? February the 4th, one wrong word. So we will talk about that at some point when the time comes, but that is not now. So let me introduce our 4 authors for you tonight, and let's talk about them a little bit. Michele Campbell. I'm going to do this in alphabetical order, although it's not the order that I see on the screen. Michele Campbell is a graduate of Harvard College and Stanford Law School, and a former federal prosecutor in New York City who specialized in international narcotics and gang cases. She is the internationally best-selling author of numerous thrillers, several of which have been optioned for film or television. The Intern, her newest book, just came out last week to wild acclaim. And after years, good, hold it up. Oh, the Zoom thing.
Oh, no, I've got the Zoom on blur.
I don't have the Zoom.
Thank you.
That baby up right here. The Intern is out now. After years of writing domestic suspense, it marks her return to what she calls her first love, the legal thriller. And Michele and I will be in conversation on Tuesday. Is it Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday at 7. I'm so excited.
I am too. And if you're in New England, at an Unlikely Story bookstore in Plainville, one of the most magical bookstores ever. So come see us in person. That would be great. Our next author is Rob Hart. Hey, Rob. Rob is the author of The Paradox Hotel, nominated for a Lambda Literary Award, and The Warehouse, which was translated into more than 20 languages. He also wrote the Ash McKenna series, a short story collection with James Patterson, and the comic book Blood Oath with Alex Segura. His next books, due in 2024, are Assassins Anonymous, and you all ask Rob about this. It is an amazing idea. I cannot wait to read this new book, as well as Dark Space, co-written with Segura. Rob, where are you right now?
I am on Staten Island in New York.
Staten Island. Okay, welcome. I'm so glad that you could be here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Of course. Our next author is Jess Lourey. Jess is the Edgar-nominated, Amazon charts best-selling, International Thriller Award, Anthony Award, and Minnesota Book Award-winning author of crime fiction, nonfiction, children's books, YA adventure, and magical realism. She is a retired professor of creative writing and sociology and a TEDx presenter. When not reading, traveling, or fostering kittens, you can find her drafting her next story. Her newest thriller is The Taken Ones, an incredibly exciting, riveting page turner of a thriller. And Jess comes to us from, where are you?
Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis. Ask her about her adventures in the past couple of days.
In Wisconsin, yes.
In Wisconsin,
yeah.
You will want to know this. This is the only time, Paula, when you have been last in alphabetical order. How can the M's be last in alphabetical order? Paula Munier is the USA Today best-selling author of the Mercy Carr series, nominated for the Mary Higgins Clark Award, and a multiple Dogwise Award winner. Her upcoming book, Home at Night, coming next week, and will be debuting at Gibson's bookstore, right, Paula?
Yeah.
Anyway, she says it was inspired by her volunteer work as a natural resources steward for New Hampshire. Along with her love of nature, Paula credits the hero dogs of Mission Canine Rescue, her own rescue dogs, and a deep affection for New England as her major influences. A literary agent by day, she's also written 3 popular books on writing and a memoir. She lives in New England with her family, 4 dogs, and a cat. Is it still just 4, Paula? Do you have 27 dogs now?
No, we're stopping at 4.
Stopping at 4. Very wise. So now we want to hear a little bit more about you, and we will do our famous backroom, not quite 20 questions, where we will ask you some questions to let the audience know a little bit about more who you really are. And I'll just ask you the questions in the order that I see you on TV. So Jess Lourey, How do you feel about football?
I feel nothing about football. And I have nothing to expand on that. You know what? I think it's fine that it exists.
You see, these are just random. You all know that they're random. And when I looked at that question, I thought, I'm going to ask Jess Lourey about football. I'm not sure about that. What's your favorite sport? Do you watch any sports?
I don't watch any sports, but in high school, I did love the Green Bay Packers back when, what was the boy from Mississippi? Brett Favre, when Brett Favre was the quarterback. And I thought it was a great team. I didn't know any better. Strike two. Oh no. Oh yeah, and the Twins are getting close to the playoffs.
You know, I'm from Boston, and so we don't really like to talk about football that much these days. You know, it is not the best. It is not the best. How many, Casey Cooper says Lions fan here, and Sharon Person says it's baseball playoffs time. Oh golly. So you look at all the comments. It's really, really funny about sports. All right, we'll try something else. This might be equally strange juxtaposition, but Rob Hart, how do you feel about pumpkin spice?
I think it's fine that it exists. Which Jess is now going to be my go-to answer on so many things. You know, look, if you like pumpkin spice, that's awesome. It's not for me. You know, I drink my coffee black, so you know that's not ever really something that I'm interested in. But yeah, you know, it's the season for it. Go nuts, have fun.
Well, you know, I just couldn't even think about the possibility of drinking a pumpkin spice thing. I mean, I understand.
I don't even know what it is. I guess it's like cinnamon and cloves and stuff. It's not even pumpkin. That's the thing that kind of throws me a little bit. There's no pumpkin in it. It's the whole thing.
Or pumpkin. It's the spice.
Yeah, the whole endeavor is confusing to me.
Pumpkin pie, good. We're all about pumpkin pie. Yes, pumpkin pie. All right, we'll just go right on to a question that possibly this one will be good. Paula, I don't know though. What's the best Halloween costume you've ever worn?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I mean, I'm not sure I know. I know the best Mardi Gras costume I ever wore.
Okay, that's good.
Was that's this was a while ago. If you remember the Man from Glad commercials, the guy in white who came to change your trash. So we all dressed up as trash bags. All the girls, this was in high school in New Orleans, all the girls wore trash bags. So we literally just cut holes and tied them around our neck. And then all the guys were all in white, and they were the Man from Glad. So that was fun. And we got a lot of play for that. And it was easy and cheap. So it was perfect.
A good team costume. That's great. Yeah. That's great. Okay. Michele Campbell, nothing about football, pumpkin spice, or what was your favorite book as a child?
Oh, The Witch of Blackbird Pond by Elizabeth George Spear. I read that so many times. I got it at a school book fair, and I read it over and over until it fell apart. And to this day, I feel like it influences me. It was a historical, it was a romance, it had sort of supernatural elements. It was a real genre bender. And it was also sort of a thriller because it was about a young girl who had become orphaned, and she was sent to family in New England, and she was such an outcast. The only person that she could relate to was an old Quaker woman who lived at the edge of this pond. And there was some real prejudice and safety issues for them. And it was sort of like The Crucible in a way, but just a lot lighter for young kids. And I just love that book to this day.
Getting some applause. It's getting some applause in the comments. So that's marvelous. It's neat to have a thing that brings people together like that, a childhood memory like that. So we want to know what our authors are reading. And that is so important because it can really point us to some wonderful books that we might otherwise have missed. So Jess Lourey, tell us what you're reading these days or what you are recommending.
The book that I'm recommending is Solito by Javier Zamora. I was on Instagram and it was recommended to me, and I buy too many things on Instagram that are recommended to me, but it's the story of, it's a memoir. I usually read fiction. It's a memoir about a man who, when he was 9 years old immigrated from El Salvador to the United States by himself. And the reason I picked it up, other than the concept is so good, he's a poet. And I love reading poets who write novels or memoirs, and the language delivers. It's a beautiful book.
I mean, poetry is just so succinct. And does the book feel like that as well? So powerful?
It does. It feels not even succinct so much as you can feel your feet walking through the desert at night, right? And you can feel the wind on your neck and you can smell the trees blooming. Like, he's very visceral with his language.
Marvelous. And as you see, you all, we have a graphic from the marvelous Sarah Sullivan, a graphic that for each of these novels. And we will also put a list of the book titles and the authors in the chat. So you will not even have to write them down. You can copy them if you like from the chat. What about you, Rob? What are you reading or recommending?
I'm recommending Hurt for Me by Heather Levy, which is not actually out yet. So I just have to show you a picture on my iPad. That's coming out in February. And it's about a dominatrix who one of her clients winds up dead, and she kind of gets like sucked into this investigation of like what happened. And it's told sort of in the past and in the present. You see sort of like the tragedy of her past and kind of what brought her to where she is, and then like the investigation that's going on in the present. And it's just like it's a ripping thriller. It's so good. It's so fast. And the thing that I like about it is that, you know, it's a little kinky. It's about a dominatrix, but, you know, it's also really thoughtful and respectful. And I think done in a way that is really respectful of sex workers and people in that industry. So yeah, just absolutely loved it.
The language, I saw an early copy of that one too. Her language is beautiful. Heather can sew a sentence like nobody's business. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's got that amazing like, and I'm always looking for that, like something that's like really, really well written, but like that I literally like it. I'm like canceling stuff so that I can find some more time to read. And I think I tore through it in like 2 days.
I mean, it's so interesting because we all read so many books, and when you find the one that makes the walls just fall away, you know, it's amazing. You can really tell the ones that are superly fabulous, which brings me to Paula Munier, who has a completely different kind of book to recommend.
It's the Odyssey. It's a new translation by Emily Watson. She was the first woman to translate the Odyssey into English. And what I love about it is that it's very plain spoken. So instead of, you know, tell me, O muse, or the man of many devices, it's tell me about a complicated man. The language is so modern and direct and straightforward that it's accessible, right? It's a very accessible story. She's made the Odyssey very accessible. And there's kind of a poetry to the plainness of the language. I just loved it. And she's just out now with the Iliad, her translation of the Iliad, which I have not yet read. But if you like classics, right, this is really, and you think, oh God, I read that in high school and it was terrible. I never got through it because it's long, right? This is much easier. I listened to it first on audiobook and then I read it. It's just great.
And it's a good story. You know, that's the thing that it was impenetrable almost when you're 12, but now, it's a cool story. Yeah. Thank you. Wonderful. And Michele, what are you recommending?
Well, first of all, I want to read all these books that everyone is recommending. They all sound amazing. I'm actually recommending a whole series, not just a book, not just one of the books in the series. And I apologize if my camera is blur. Yeah. But this is Sarah Stewart Taylor's Maggie Darcy series. And I think the one that's up on the graphic is the most recent one, A Stolen Child. But I've read them all. And this is probably my favorite series right now. And, you know, there's so many great series, but this one is about an American detective who is of Irish-American ancestry and has very close connections to Ireland. The series is just lush and beautifully written, atmospheric. The characters are wonderful. The plots are complex, and, you know, it's just everything a traditional literary mystery series should be. So I recommend you start with the first book and get them all.
She's amazing. I'm a huge Sarah Stewart Taylor fan, and I know, Paula, you are too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great stuff.
She's great. Good pick. Good picks, everyone. Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.